Welcome to episode 5 of my brand new Aquascaping Beginners guide. In this mini-series I'm starting completely from scratch so I can show you everything you need to know about aquascaping from start to finish. I'll be setting up 2 tanks, one low-tech and one high-tech, so there's something for everybody. I'll show you what equipment you need, how to create nice hardscapes and select the right plants, how to deal with algae and just general maintenance. If you want to start aquascaping or just get better at it, then this one is for you. Okay, episode number 5 of the 2025 Aquascaping Beginners Guide. In episode number 4, we planted both tanks, and as you can see, we now already have 2 fully grown in beautiful aquascapes. So in real time, about 2 months have passed. I planted both tanks on the 1st of November 2024 actually, and it is now early January of 2025. So in this episode, we're going to do a bit of an update on both tanks, just talk about what has happened in those 2 months. And I'm also going to go to the store and we're going to pick up the fish for both tanks. Super excited. So let's begin with the low-tech tank. Guys, this is the current situation after 2 months and 1 week. And I think it's looking pretty good. It's definitely not as grown in as the high-tech tank, but still, we've had some decent plant growth. And I have to say that in general, this tank has been really easy to care for. Almost no algae issues whatsoever. The only problem that I have with this tank is I had 2 plants that almost melted completely. First one was the Rotala Bonza that we planted over there. There is still a few stems left, but yeah, not much. So I've basically replaced it with a crypt. Let me show you from the side. This is the crypt Purpurea. So this one came from in vitro, so it's still quite small, but it should grow to about this size, so then there will be a nice transition from the foreground to the background. Then the second plant that almost completely melted was the Myriophyllum Guyana. So there's still a few stems here, a few here and there, but yeah, there's not much left. So I basically replaced that with the Myriophyllum Matogrossense, which is this one. And I actually really like this one. So it's a little bit bigger than the Guyana, but still a really beautiful stem plant. But yeah, all the other stem plants have done really well. You can see the Ludwigia Super Red, the Ludwigia plus there's green over here and over there, and the Rotala Laos also over there. So it's looking pretty good. I also love how the moss is starting to look over here. This is why it's called weeping moss. You can see how it's sort of starting to grow downwards. I really love how that looks. Then if we have a look at the foreground, you can see that we don't really have a full carpet just yet. The dwarf hairgrass is growing quite slowly. Also the Marcellea is growing quite slowly. So I've actually added a 3rd carpeting plant, which is the Allantium Dennerle Red. It's another quite easy carpeting plant, and hopefully it will just help to fill the space out a little bit. Now as you can see, we already have some inhabitants in here. We have some red cherry shrimp, we have some Cleton snails over here, and we have some Oase, another Cleton snail over there. And we also have some Amano shrimp as well. So all these inhabitants, the shrimp, the snails, the Otocinclus, are basically the cleanup crew. I've added them after like 2 or 3 weeks after planting. I wanted to get it all on video as well, but during that time I was really busy. I was traveling to Japan, I was traveling to Germany, and there was the holidays as well, so I didn't manage to get all that on camera. But yeah, they've basically been added 2 to 3 weeks after I did the planting. Yeah, cleanup crew is just super helpful. I mean, in this tank I didn't really have that much algae, but if I wouldn't have the cleanup crew, I would definitely have a lot more algae. They just make your life a lot easier. So you don't have to get all of them, but if you can get a combination of the Amano shrimp and the Otocinclus, for example, they will just make your life a lot easier. Okay, then let's talk about the high-tech tank. Yeah, guys, what can I say? I mean, there's quite a difference, right, compared to the low-tech tank. It's now almost at the verge of being overgrown, and I've actually already turned the plants a few times. I'm thinking to kind of just let the plants grow a little bit more so I can do a proper trimming session and capture that on video as well and save that for episode number 6 maybe. Now in this tank I definitely had more algae issues compared to our low-tech tank. I'll overlay some clips of how the tank was looking at the early stages. Definitely a lot more diatoms, some other algae as well. I was basically just having to fine-tune, having to get the right balance between the light, the CO2 and the nutrients, which always takes a little bit of time. It's always a little bit more difficult in a high-tech tank because it's easier to upset the balance in a high-tech tank. But right now we found a balance and it is looking really good. In here, actually the same thing, the Rotala Bonsai had also melted, so I've replaced it with the Cryptocrina purpurea. But I think besides that, nothing else melted. Or maybe some Bush Philander melted as well. There's still a little bit of Bush Philander there in the shadow. Some more over here just behind that moss. But not as much boost as I had initially planted in this tank. I'll give you a little view from the top as well. Just look at the density of the stems as well. And here the Myriophyllum Guyana is looking really good. Also the Ludwigia green, which we have over here, Ludwigia red. Also the Dwarf Hydra carpet is looking a lot better. It's not a full carpet yet, we still have a few empty spots over here, for example, but yeah, it's almost a full carpet. And the moss is looking really good as well. And of course in here we also already have a cleanup crew, so we have some Amano shrimp. On this side we have a few Otocinclus. I should have snails in here as well, but I don't see them at the moment. And instead of the red cherry shrimp, in here we have some blue shrimp, which I at the moment also don't see, but I'm sure they're all hiding in the dense plant mass. Okay, so that was just a quick update on both tanks. Really cool to see how they've both progressed in those 2 months. Quite a big difference between them, but I love them both. This one was definitely easier to maintain. This one was a bit more difficult to maintain with all the trimming and the initial algae issues. I think the goal now is to try to get this one to look like that. So we just have to get a little bit more plant mass in the low-tech tank. I've actually just increased the light intensity to 100%. I think I was running on 80% for the past 2 months. But you know, the aquarium is quite stable now. We already have a good plant mass, but yeah, I'm going to see what happens now that the light is on full power. But I think that's enough talk. I think we should now go to the fish shop, pick up some new inhabitants for both tanks. Okay, so we are back at Hames. These guys have a pretty decent collection of nano fish. So I'm just gonna kind of show you guys my favorites or what I would suggest. My most favorite is these guys over here, the Galaxy Rasboras. Beautiful fish, blue body, red fins, perfect for a 55 liter nano tank. I also really like these guys, the Amber Tetra. They're orange and not super colorful right now, but you know, in a tank with some decent lighting, they'll be a beautiful orange color. Very hardy fish as well, very easy to keep, not fussy at all. Over here we have beautiful Paskai rainbows. These are really nice as well. Beautiful blue eye and a yellow-orange body. Next to them we have the Emerald Rasboras, very similar to the Galaxies, but just a little bit different. These guys are more blue with less red. These are pretty cool as well, just their sort of like standard antler guppies. A little bit smaller than normal guppies, so could also be an option. Next up we have Phoenix Rasboras, also really nice. Stay very small, so you can even keep these in like a 30 liter nano tank. These guys are also very popular. The green guys over here, these are green Cubotai Rasboras. Again, you know, they're not super green at the moment, but that's just because of the environment. If you put these in a nice planted tank, they'll be very vibrant green. I don't know if I can get these guys on camera, but these are the Mosquito Rasboras or Chili Rasboras. Very similar to the Phoenix that I just showed you, but even smaller. Let's see if we have something on this side as well. Oh, this is pretty cool. Not the cichlids, but the Corridoras. These are Corridoras ambrosus, so they kind of stay this size. So if you like corys, then this could also be an option. Now, in general, Corridoras do prefer a sand bottom. You know, we have a carpet, so maybe for our tank it's not the best option. But if you do have a nice cosmetic sand foreground, yeah, they could be perfect. If you want a feature fish, like a pair or something, I actually really like these guys, the honey gouramis. They get a little bit bigger, but you know, if you just have 2 of them, it could be nice as well. You can also have them in a different color variety, honey gourami gold. These have a little bit more color. They have a lot of different live bears as well, different kinds of guppies and platies and swordtail, stuff like that. I feel like in general, most of these are just a little bit too big for our tank. I would put these in a slightly bigger tank. I really like dwarf cichlids as well, like Apistogramma for example. But again, I feel like our tank is a bit too small. Maybe this one, Apistogramma borelli. So that's these guys over here. One pair of these could be an option because this is like the smallest dwarf cichlid of the Apistogramma type. Another cool option are these guys. I don't know if I can get a good shot of them. These are the green neon tetras. So very similar to the normal cardinal and normal neon tetras, but these actually stay a little bit smaller. So also a good option for a nano tank. Personally, I wouldn't recommend the normal cardinal tetras because, I mean, at this size it's possible. But for example, over here, you already have the sort of like the XXL cardinal tetras, and they get even bigger than this, you know. So yeah, sometimes people forget how big these cardinal tetras actually get. Over here we do have dwarf pea poppers, also really cool. Just a really cute fish, but yeah, they require a little bit more care, you know. They need special feeding. You also need to be careful with how many of them you put together. Some say they can also, you know, eat shrimp, so it's a bit of a tricky one. So as you can see, we have quite a lot of options for nano tanks. I'm going to take a little moment to think about what I want, and then I'll see you guys back home again. Okay, back home, we got our fish. So first thing I need to do is to shut off the CO2 system from the high-tech tank. So of course the fish in the shop are not used to CO2, those tanks don't have CO2, so if you would put them in here right now, I don't think they'll be very happy. Let's see what's in the first bag. I don't know if you guys can see it. Anyway, in here we have 8 Galaxy Rasboras. Love it. Where should we put them? Low tech or high tech? I think I'm going to put the Galaxy Rasboras in the low tech tank. Okay, bag number 2. In here we have the Paskai Dwarf Rainbows. They're also going to go in with the Galaxies. So we have a mix. Okay, the last bag. In here we actually have 2 types of fish. We have the green Cubotai Rasboras, and then we have the green neon tetras. So we have 8 Galaxy Rasboras and 8 Paskai Rainbows for the low tech tank. And in the high tech tank we have 8 green neon tetras and 8 green Cubotai Rasboras. So I'm now going to start acclimating this fish. I'm sure most people know how to acclimate fish, but in case you're a total beginner, let me quickly explain. So I'm just going to start by letting these bags float in the tanks for about 30 minutes, just so they can get up to temperature. You know, I've been traveling from the fish shop back to my place, it takes about 30 minutes, and it's currently freezing outside. So I'm sure the temperature has dropped a little bit, and the tank water is 25 degrees Celsius, so there's definitely a bit of a difference. So we just slowly let them come up to temperature. Then in 30 minutes, I'm going to open all the bags, and then I'll slowly start adding some tank water to the bags, just so that the fish can get used to my water parameters, because I'm sure my water parameters are a little bit different from the water parameters in the store. So I'm going to do that for another 30 minutes as well. So basically 1 hour in total to acclimate them, but that's it, super simple. Now some people don't like to add the water from the bags to the tank, but I don't mind that, so I will just tilt the bag and just let the fish swim out of the bag into the tank on their own. So the bags have been floating for about 30 minutes, so now I'm just slowly adding a little bit of water, and I'll repeat that 6-7 times maybe. Then we should be good. Okay guys, 30 minutes have passed, so I think we're all good to let these guys go. Galaxy Rasboras going in first. Like I said, we have 8 of them. Hopefully a nice mix of male and females. Next up we have the Paskai Rainbows. Also 8 of them. I think the 2 bigger ones are definitely males. This one is super colorful. Now because we've added the water from the bags, the water level is a bit too high, so I'm definitely gonna drain the tank a little bit. Let's first release these guys, the green neon tetras and the green cubothyrasboras. That is awesome. Finally some proper movement in this tank. It was nice to already have the cleanup crew, you know, to have some animals in here, but now with the fish in here it's complete. And you can see the colors, I mean they've just been released, but they're already way more colorful than they were in the shop. So we'll just let them get used to their new home, and then we can come back tomorrow to see how they're doing. Okay, fast forward, it's now 2 days later and all the fish are doing really good. They've all colored up nicely, especially the Pascal rainbows. There's a few males in here which are looking really good. The Galaxy Vice boars are still quite small, so they just need to grow a little bit bigger, a little bit more colorful. But the green neon tetras and the cubothyrasboras looking really good as well. I wanted to take a moment to explain to you guys why I chose these fish and why I decided to go with 2 groups in both tanks instead of just one larger group. So the Pascal rainbows and the green cubothyrasboras are very outgoing fish. Outgoing, is that the correct word? They're not shy at all, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. They're always out and about. They're not easily scared. They're not skittish. But the Galaxy Vice and the green neon tetras can sometimes be a little bit skittish. I've had these fish in the past as well, and it doesn't always happen, but sometimes when these fish are just on their own in one group, and they don't have any other fish with them, they can be very shy. You know, they'll be constantly hiding in the back, in between the plants, and you will rarely see them. You either have to sit really still in front of the tank and don't move, and then wait until they come out again. But you don't want to be tiptoeing around your own aquarium, you know, like you want it like this. They constantly have fish out and about and not shy at all. The Pascal rainbows basically help to make the Galaxy Vice feel more comfortable, and in this tank the cubothyrasboras help make the green neon tetras feel more comfortable, if that makes sense. And I think it's working as well, because the green neon tetras are constantly out and about, Galaxy Vice are constantly out and about. Yeah, as you can see, like there's a lot of movement going on and nobody's shy, even though I'm sitting super close to the tank. So yeah, that's kind of the main reason why I chose these fish. Guys, I think that's it for the 5th episode of this beginner's guide. Number 6 will be all about maintenance, which will come soon. And then after that, we will do episode number 7, which will be the full cost breakdown. And then I think that's it. I think that will be the end of this series. Unless you guys have something else you want me to go over. So if there's anything else you want to know about these tanks, or if you have any more questions, maybe we can actually do like a Q&A or something like that. I don't know. If you guys want a Q&A, let me know in the comments. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.